postgame. Lakers, Blazers is the final.
Davis got to do something, AD, so he shoots a three and buries it. Anthony Davis has 29 points.
And we bounced back tonight. That's the LeBron and AD we love.
Laker ball side out of bounds. LeBron brings it into JaVale McGee. He gets Anthony Davis. Alley-oop to LeBron, who slams it home.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Lakers basketball is a final.
877-710 ESPN. Recapping Lakers basketball tonight from the NBA bubble in Orlando against the Blazers.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
The Lakers take control 111-88 over the Portland Trail Blazers. Series now tied 1 apiece. Big game for the Lakers. Important game for the Lakers. Not just for one win. I know at the end of the day, 16 is the goal, not 1. But to just get some type of momentum is so key for this Los Angeles Lakers team. And I'm sure for a lot of Laker fans out there, I'm sure for the Los Angeles Lakers, the franchise, this is one game that you could put behind you. You could start preparing for Game 3, and you got to really start preparing to take control of this series. If the big picture is winning an NBA championship, taking care of the Portland Trail Blazers and trying to do it as fast as possible is going to be important. Now, you heard what Michael Thompson was saying towards the end of the game. You know that this Portland Trail Blazers team is going to be they'll be ready for Game 3. They'll come out much better prepared. They didn't seem like, one thing that we've been talking about with this Lakers team, we haven't really seen this energy, this sense of urgency in the bubble so far. And I'm talking about some of those regular season games as well and this one playoff game. But at least for tonight, that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. I thought Lakers had great energy. I thought they came out the gate. At one point, they were up 16-8. They had a 27-19 lead at the end of the first quarter. They kind of dictated the game. And, for a franchise that's been struggling, certainly to start the game has been struggling, that was so important. And it was important for the Portland Trail Blazers now have to play catch-up against the Lakers rather than vice versa, which it seems like the Lakers have had a lot of games over the last couple of weeks where they're behind by 7 or they're behind by 10 by the end of the first quarter. But in tonight's game, they took control early. Halftime, they had a double-digit lead. They were up 30 by the time we got to the fourth quarter, and at one point up 33. So Lakers certainly put their foot down in this one. So how did the Lakers get the win? When you shoot 48% from the field, especially for a team like the Lakers that have been struggling on the offensive side, and you put up 111 points, you're going to win a lot of games. Game 1, Lakers only gave up 100 points to the Portland Trail Blazers. So defensively, they were actually okay. They only scored 93 points. And I don't need to go over all the stats of where Lakers struggled. We know they struggled from the free throw line, the three-point line, and just their regular field goal percentage. 48% from the field tonight. They shoot 37% from the three-point line, hit 14 of 38 threes, and 9 of 10 from the free throw line, 90%. I know it's not that simple when they say, all right, it's a make-or-miss league, but certainly for the Lakers, it seems like if they keep playing this type of defense, they're going to have a chance to win all these games. They gave up 100 points in Game 1. They gave up 88 points in Game 2. This was the highest scoring team in the Orlando bubble. It was the Portland Trail Blazers, so you could tell how impressive that was. Defensively for the Lakers, 40% from the field was Portland, 27%, 28%, right around there, was from the three-point line. And the main players for the Portland Trail Blazers never really got in a rhythm. Damian Lillard, who played 30 minutes, we saw him dislocate his finger, but it's X-rays came back negative. So you heard Ireland and Michael talking about that. That's going to be something that we keep an eye on. It was on his left hand, so his non-shooting hand, and hopefully is good to go for Game 3. But Damian Lillard had just 18 points. It's not just the Damian Lillard part. You pay close attention to all the role players for the Portland Trail Blazers, because there's games that we've watched over this past month or so with the Blazers and it's Gary Trent Jr. putting up 20. It's Carmelo adding 18. It's C.J. McCollum with 25. And it's that balanced attack that really hurts the Lakers in the series if these players are all obviously contributing together. So I say that, and I keep all that in mind because after Damian Lillard, who had 18, C.J. McCollum just had 13. Carmelo Anthony was awful tonight. 2 points, 1 of 6 from the field. Nurkic just had 9 points and 8 rebounds. Lakers kept him in check. And C.J. McCollum, I mentioned, 13 points. So you really just had 2 other players in double figures, but from the main players, it's just Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum who had over 10 points. You do that in Game 3, Lakers are going to be up 2-1. And I'm not saying that the Portland Trailblazers are going to come out in each one of these games and this is how it's going to go, but definitely under these circumstances for this one night, this was the type of performance. I don't even want to be too impressed with the performance. What I want to say is this is the type of performance that the Lakers should be having. This is what we're expecting. That's what, not just fans, but I think the franchise, everybody's expecting that this Lakers team handles business the way that they did tonight. All right, I want to throw out the phone number, as always, and we'll take as many phone calls as we can tonight. The phone number is 877-710-ESPN. Give us your thoughts on tonight's performance. If you want to start already looking to Game 3, you can start doing that as well. You can give us your thoughts of what you're expecting in Game 3, 877-710-ESPN, if you want to be a part of the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show here on 710 ESPN. One quick note here, and I want to give credit, obviously, where credit is due. I spent a lot of time after Game 1 talking about Anthony Davis and really just mentioning that his performance from Game 1, he's just going to have to be a lot better. I know people could look at his stat line and say, oh, he's got 28 and 11. What are you talking about? He wasn't efficient, 8 of 24 from the field. More importantly, you didn't feel Anthony Davis's presence. You got to feel Anthony Davis. He's too good of a player to not feel him on a night-in, night-out basis. Tonight you felt him. And you felt Anthony Davis in just 29 minutes of play. The 31 points, the steal, the block shot, the 11 rebounds, and then the best part of his stat line, 13 of 21 from the field. So 13 of 21 from the field, that's the type of player from an efficiency standpoint that we expect from Anthony Davis, and that's what he's going to have to do. If Lakers are going to win an NBA championship this year, if Lakers are going to one down, 15 to go, if they're going to win 4 rounds and eventually hoist up number 17 and tie the Boston Celtics, there's got to be times where AD's the best player on the floor, and that's with LeBron James sharing the same court with him. That's how good he's going to have to be. That's how important Anthony Davis is going to be to the Lakers, and that's not me downplaying all the other players. That's not me downplaying LeBron James or all these role players for the Lakers or Kuzma or anything like that. But AD's the 26-year-old who has never won a championship and is in an incredible position on this Lakers roster and on this Lakers team to have that potential to win an NBA championship. So expectations are high, but I'm sure Anthony Davis doesn't want it any differently. All right, let me squeeze in a couple quick calls here. Let's hear from some Laker fans out there. Let's start with Joe in the Inland Empire. Joe, thank you for calling in. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, bud.
What's up, Allen?
What's going on?
Hey, I'm happy, man. Hey, today was a good day. I want to say big shout-out to really AD and all the big players. But I want to say KCP, I was happy. I was, like, watching the game, and everybody was like, oh, he made a big shot. And I was like, really? He can do this. Like, KCP's not a bad player. Like, we're not surprised when he balls out. So I'm happy he showed up today.
Joe, he's not a bad player, but he had been struggling these last 8-9 games. Mm-hmm.
When he shows up big. So I was happy today. He showed up big today. AD, he showed that he was the top 5 player today.
But that's what he's got to do every game, right, Joe? I mean, this can't be once every couple of every single game. When we come back in Game 3, 24 hours or 48 hours from now, and I'm sitting here on the postgame show, I hope you call back in and you're telling me, Allen, I told you that's 2 games in a row. So that's what he's going to have to do.
He's only been averaging 22 points a game in the restart. So, yeah, he has to go up. He has to average 30.
Well, this is Joe, and thank you for calling in. All right, I want to get to JaVale McGee real quick, but this is the expectation. JaVale McGee, by the way, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 6 from the field. Definitely contributed, specifically in that first half. I loved his activity. In that first quarter, I loved his activity. Here's JaVale McGee after the Lakers' 111-88 win over the Portland Trailblazers.
Big game. James Worthy started our post-game show talking about how he doesn't put too much emphasis on game one. Rather, it's about how you respond. How would you describe what that preparation process was like for you guys over the past couple days as you guys came out and really took the reins from the jump?
I feel like the preparation process was definitely important. We were extremely locked in game two. Game one, they definitely came out. I feel like hit us in the mouth early, and we prepared tremendously for game two, and it showed.
When it came to the domination for you guys as a whole, collectively inside in the paint, how would you describe what that effort was like tonight, and how much of an emphasis was there on that aspect of the game?
Everybody had everybody's back. Somebody get beat on the drive, help side's there, and we help the helper. I feel like that's really our emphasis is helping each other and making sure that we're scrambling and making sure our defense is A1.
One final one from me. There was a moment tonight, LeBron was, of course, mic'd up for the game, and he was on camera saying that we are built differently. We're built differently, keep going. You're a two-time champ, JaVale. How is this team built in regards to what you guys are looking to accomplish?
Rob Pelinka put a group of champions together. He knew what he was doing, and everybody here has championship pedigree, and we've been in these situations, these pressure situations, so it showed out there tonight.
Hey, JaVale, how important is it for you guys, as great as the win is today, how important is it for you guys to come back in game three with the same intensity that you had tonight?
Very important. We can't take this as something to gloat about or celebrate about. We definitely have to move on to the next game and come out with the same intensity from the jump.
Are you guys surprised with this blowout win? Is this going to change the environment with the Lakers now, even though you guys were confident enough? But how would this win, what this means to you guys tonight?
No, we're not surprised. We knew what we could do. We just weren't playing to the top of our abilities. And we did what we were supposed to do. We play how we play. So, no, we weren't surprised.
All right, that's JaVale McGee right there. Love that quote. Rob Pelinka put a group of champions together. But they're going to have to keep that momentum going, and it's good to hear JaVale say right after that, basically says, all right, it's one game. Let's get back to work. Quick thank you to the Wallace Firm, proud legal partner of the postgame show and Lakers Talk all season long. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, any kind of accident, the Wallace Firm are the serious lawyers to get you the W. Call now at 844-844-WINS or visit wallacewins.com. Okay, more of your guys' phone calls when we come back. 877-710-ESPN. My favorite part of the postgame show is talking with listeners that are out there, and we'll react together on this Lakers win, plus head coach Frank Vogel. All that coming up next. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m. How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson? Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m. How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson? Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
This is the Pizza
On
Hut
7
Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
111-88. Lakers over the Portland Trailblazers. Series tied at 1 apiece. Feels good. Got a Lakers victory. It's been a little while. Lakers basketball on 710 ESPN is brought to you by Metro. Metro continues to strengthen cleaning on our buses and trains with added services to help maintain social distancing for your essential trips. Learn more at metro.net/we're here for you. Great quote from, or great tweet from Jared Dudley. Never get too high on a win. Never get too low on a loss. #playoffs. Lakers find a way to get the win. And, I think from a fan perspective, it's a little bit more difficult not to get too high and not to get too low, at least for tonight. Laker fans got something to look forward to. Certainly Lakers got something to build off of. And after that loss to the Portland Trailblazers in Game 1, I'm sure a lot of these players are hearing all the different criticism and what happened to this Lakers team. I get caught up in it too, and I think a lot of fans do as well. But with all that being said, at one point they were up 33 in Game 2. I'm not, too overly impressed. I think this is what the expectations are for a Lakers team that's supposed to go out and win an NBA championship. It reminds me almost a little bit of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic. Milwaukee, number 1 seed, loses to Orlando in the first game and then come back and blow out the Orlando Magic. Now, I know the Orlando Magic, that is not exactly the right comp for the Portland Trailblazers. We know how good the Blazers are. But still, a blowout win for the Lakers. Take some more of your guys' calls, 877-710-ESPN, if you want to be a part of the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Let's go to Oscar in Baldwin Park. Oscar, thank you for calling into the postgame show. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? Mamba RIP. Real quick, bro, I just want a couple analysis. Happy about the win, obviously. I was looking, I got the all day long. I know the playoffs are starting. Got the juices going again, and the Lakers, and they proved myself. They proved me right because Davis, I was pissed off in Game 1. He was out there on the 3-point line shooting the threes, and this game he just let the game come to him.
And Oscar, I'm sure in that Game 1, Portland was very happy to see him out at the 3-point line.
Yeah, Yeah. I don't know. I was yelling at the TV that day, man. He was just, he looked nervous. I don't know, but he looked good tonight. The whole team looked good. It was the kind of win I was expecting if they were going to win because they set the tone out. And I'm hoping this sets the tone for the rest of the playoffs and the rest of the going forward. I just hope this was kind of their wake-up game to let you know that the playoffs started and time to get busy, you know?
Appreciate you calling in. No, it's great, Oscar. Thank you for calling in. I'll hit off of that. I will tell you that it feels good to have a win, but I think you said it best right there, Oscar. This has got to be what kind of catapults them from here. Here's a reality with where the Lakers are. The reality is this is going to be a long run. It's going to be a long stretch. What you can't have happen is you win Game 2, and then all of a sudden as you get to Game 3, you take your foot off the gas a little bit. If there's one issue I've had with this Lakers team so far in Orlando, you just haven't really felt this sense of urgency. And during the 8 games that they played to wrap up the regular season, we continued to just have the same conversation. I would even call it an excuse. And that conversation was, oh, no, these games don't matter. They already locked up the number 1 seed. But the fear of walking into the playoffs was you didn't have really any games that were meaningful, where the Portland Trailblazers, Damian Lillard said this after their last win, the Game 1 win against the Lakers. He said, every game for us has been Game 7. Every game for us has been basically virtually a playoff game. Lakers haven't had that as their foundation over these last couple of weeks. So what does that mean? That means after Game 1, the loss the Lakers had, I think a lot of people were starting to question, and in their own mind were starting to try and figure out, okay, well, they better wake up. The fact that you had Portland in the first round should have been enough to wake you up. And in the second game, it feels much more of what it's supposed to feel like. And I don't want to take anything away. I know it's just one win. But as well as the Portland Trailblazers have played, as good as this team has been, and they've been impressive. They had incredible wins and close games and all that stuff in those eight regular season games, 9 if you count that last one against the Memphis Grizzlies. With all that being said, at the end of the day, they just don't have the talent that the Lakers do. And at the end of the day, a guy like Anthony Davis, a guy like LeBron James, really should this be a 7-game series? I don't think it should. I think I had mentioned it was I think a 6-game set is more realistic. Lakers still a lot of work to do. Eddie in L.A. Eddie, thank you for calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, Eddie. You're on 710 ESPN.
Hello. I just want to say I'm real happy about the win. I feel the Lakers found their identity tonight. This is what we have to do to win. We have to be aggressive on the offense and the defense. AD and LeBron, you guys got to take over the game, and there's nobody on that Portland roster that can stop them. So real happy about this win, and I hope we can keep the momentum and keep the good playing, keep the passing going. And
so, Eddie, let me throw this at you. So it's one game. What are you expecting Game 3?
What do I expect them to bring what they brought tonight. Mm-hmm. I expect the momentum to carry through to Game 3, and I mean, as for AD and LeBron, that has to be the expectation. The expectation is an NBA title. So this is the first round of the playoffs, and you got to keep it going.
All right, Eddie, thank you for calling in, bud. Brad in Long Beach. Brad, appreciate you calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, Brad.
Yes, good evening, guys. I just want to say that, first of all, before I ask the question, I'm a limousine driver, and I actually had the opportunity to pick up Elgin Baylor and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that was a very, very great honor.
That's amazing.
Having to listen to the game on the radio, I was like getting all crazy, and people was like looking at me like, "What the hell's the matter with the limousine driver?" But I was just saying.
Tell them the game's on 710 ESPN. That's what's wrong.
I'm sorry?
I said tell them that you're listening to the game on 710. You're a passionate fan. That's what they should understand that.
I think I should have a flag that says ESPN and stop looking at me. But no, I'm just saying, having to not really get them on the TV, which I do watch them anyway. But I think they're going to do it. They have the momentum going, and they just got to take game one at a time. They're going to do well.
Well, and that's and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you, Brad.
All right.
That's definitely, by the way, for the Lakers. It's this long jersey or long journey. I always look back, especially right now. This is the first playoff win for the Lakers since May 18th, 2012. So I always look back at, kind of make comparisons to this team and try and think back to the Kobe and Powell days or the Kobe and Shaq days. And the first round never meant anything. Just think about it. When it was the Kobe Shaq days, all the first round was, all right, let's go ahead and just take care of business. We play some of these games, sell out. Obviously, some great sellouts at Staples Center, some good energy. But you were always looking ahead, and you were saying, what's the second round going to look like? You were always looking ahead and saying, well, who are we going to face in the Western Conference Finals? Oh, that Sacramento team looks good, or that Blazers team looks good, or the San Antonio Spurs. And we started kind of doing that already with the Los Angeles Clippers. And then when we started this bubble in Orlando, your attention kind of shifted. Everything changed. And what I'm referring to there, what I'm talking about is you lose game one, you weren't playing that good leading up. Obviously, the circumstances are completely different. So let's just say that the Blazers definitely have everybody's attention right now from an NBA perspective and certainly a Lakers perspective. So it's just one win, put it under your belt, and then get ready for Game 3. Deshaun in Moreno Valley, thank you for calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, Deshaun.
Hey, what's up, Allen?
What's going on?
I want to give a fist bump for Frank Vogel because he didn't switch up his game plan. He stuck to getting those guys confidence. Talking about KCP and Danny Green, he stuck to them, let them build their confidence. But the main thing I want to hit on is JaVale McGee and Dwight. Them two combined as an all-star center. I mean, if you combine their points and rebounds, that's 19 points, 16 rebounds. And that's an unstoppable force.
You know what, Deshaun? You know, Deshaun. Both of these games, I will say for Dwight, like this energy. I mean, don't get me wrong. He complains on almost every call, and he fouls every other possession, and the offensive screens. But he kind of adds this element. I thought in Game 1, as poor as the Lakers shot, and as poor as they played, he was really the only one that just had this consistent energy. So JaVale, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We got a chance to hear from JaVale. JaVale loves the team. He says Rob Pelinka put a group of champions together. So if JaVale and Dwight Howard together simultaneously can put up what a regular center would do tonight, JaVale McGee, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Dwight Howard had 9 points, 5 rebounds. So add all that together, that's 13 rebounds and 19 points. I think that's what you're referring to. So certainly that's a positive stat for the Lakers. I appreciate you calling in. Okay, I want to continue to take phone calls throughout this post-game show. The phone number is 877-710-ESPN. Lakers, by the way, Game 3, a little bit earlier than these first two games. There'll be 5:30 tip-offs. But the Lakers just kind of walking into the next game against the Portland Trail Blazers has to be one of those, the thought process has to be that you try to take advantage and take control of this series. When we come back, we're going to get a chance to hear from head coach Frank Vogel. We'll get his thoughts on the Lakers win. Lakers blow out the Portland Trail Blazers 111-88. You're listening to the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas in 1 box.
You're listening to the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Once again, here's Allen Sliwa.
Points in the Paint all season long, sponsored by Vista Paint, locally owned, manufactured, and operated, and with over 1,300 Vista Paint colors. Your perfect paint expression is at Vista Paint right now, and don't forget, visit VistaPaint.com for your discount color sampler. I'm already ready for Game 3. I don't know about everybody else. I'm trying to see if the Lakers will be as ready as I'm sure Laker fans are out there. How about tonight's game? Who would have thought this? Michael and I always ask Michael what his prediction is right before the game, right as we're finishing the pregame show. Tip-off's just about to start. He thought it'd be a close game, about a 4-point game, something along those lines. Every time Michael does his predictions, he scares me because if he's not feeling confident, then I start worrying. But Michael said a 4-point game, and then you're tuned into the broadcast here, and John Ireland is saying Lakers up 33. I don't think that's something that anybody expected in tonight's game. You expected a Lakers win. You expected them to play well. But the Portland Trailblazers, that definitely wasn't the team that we faced on Tuesday, and definitely not the team that we've watched so much in this Orlando bubble. Okay, let me take a few more of your guys' calls. 877-710-ESPN. James, who's listening all the way out in Hawaii. He's listening to us on the ESPN app. James, thank you for calling, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, Alan?
Well, it feels nice to get this win, but I'm already starting to kind of shift all my attention to Game 3. Game 3 is a big one. That's a big one for the Lakers. You don't want to you want to kind of continue on this momentum. You want the Portland Trailblazers to start thinking in their head, yeah, this is why this is the number 1 team, and it's going to be such a tough out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. I just wanted to say real quick, Anthony Davis, if he keeps playing like this, man, the first game he was playing too much outside, and tonight he was dominating. And if he can continue to play like this, I think we should wrap it up in about 6 games probably.
Well, if it's 6 games, and I think a lot of people are predicting that, and James, I appreciate you calling in from Hawaii. If it's 6 games, then I think what you're going to start seeing in this Orlando bubble, we're already seeing it. Clippers lost to the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. You got Utah and Denver tied at 1 apiece. I think you're going to see some of these series maybe go a little bit longer than they usually would. What I'm referring to there is home court doesn't mean anything. It is literally a neutral court. So right now, the Blazers, if we had these first 2 games at Staples Center and they split 1-1, they would be so excited to be heading back to the Moda Center to face the to face the Lakers in front of their home crowd. Well, now that doesn't mean anything. A couple virtual fans on a board is not going to be the difference of a win or a loss. So the volume being churned up when a player scores, if you're technically the home team, that's not going to mean as much. Julian in L.A. Julian, thank you for calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, Julian.
Hi, Alan. Thank you for taking my call tonight. I just wanted to mention a couple things. One, in the first game, the Lakers lost. The bigger players didn't look good, but they lost by 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, Portland got spanked. And the deal is, is that I expect the emotional tension, even if it's in a neutral site like where they're playing right now, but I do expect the emotional tension to go up as the stakes get higher.
I'm with you on that, definitely.
It sounds kind of cliche, but the closer we get to who's going to take advantage in games, I do expect a little bit more tension. The way Damian Lillard got upset when he thought he really hurt his finger real bad tells you a little bit about his character. I expect him to come out better, and the next game is going to be, I think, really intense. One more thought, and that is I really do think that the Lakers' bigger stars make the other players better. If the bigger players, LeBron and AD, if they're playing exceptionally well, other players seem to turn up the heat. And thank you very much, Ellen.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. Well, they got to set the tone. No question about it. They have to set the tone. It's going to be on LeBron and AD's back. I was talking about Anthony Davis earlier. We're going to watch a lot of these games. We're going to listen to the broadcast. And we have to have many post-game shows where I'm talking about Anthony Davis. You have to, for the right reasons. They're going to rely on AD a ton. And, of course, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, these guys are going to follow the lead of your stars. LeBron, I don't really have to say anything about. LeBron's been doing it. You go see back this season and see when LeBron goes to the bench what happens to this team. That's why I think there's so much emphasis on Anthony Davis. Because AD has got to be the guy, and you see it a couple times. You see AD, he'll get a dunk or he'll get a block, and he shows this type of emotion. Of course, that's going to motivate all the other players. But as far as them leading the way, no question about it, that's going to have to be the case for the Lakers, and they're going to have to do that on a consistent basis. Let me squeeze in another quick call here, and then we'll go to Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. King, who's listening on the ESPN app, all the way out in Atlanta. King, thank you for calling into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, bud.
Thanks for having me. First, I just wanted to say that KCP did a great job of redeeming himself tonight. AD turned things around. The offense was kicking. Everything was flowing. I like that. As far as Game 3 is concerned, when you have a 1-1 tie, Game 3 is probably going to be the most important game of the series. And I'm expecting Trailblazers to come out blazing.
Yeah, that's the real test.
No pun intended. Yeah,
that's the real test.
So I'm thinking they're going to be aggressive. If we can just get a little bit of consistency. Now, I love the fact that if KCP has an off night, Kuzma can step up. Or if Kuzma has an off night, maybe we can get Deion Waiters in there to get some points. But if we could just keep a little bit of consistency, we need Danny Green to step up. We need Kuzma to step up. If we can get 12 to 14 points out of our role players, I think we can lock out Game 3.
It could change everything. You got these guys getting in double figures, and these are starters for the Lakers. Definitely can change everything. King, I'm going to go to Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. Appreciate you calling in. Here's Lakers head coach on the 111-88 victory over the Blazers.
Hey, Frank, after that 36-point forward that Portland had in Game 1, it really made it difficult on them to score. What's been the key defensively for your squad?
Well, we're playing scrappy. We're competing at a very high level. The care factor on the defensive side of the ball is where it should be for playoffs, to win in the playoffs. And we have tremendous respect for the offensive firepower of the basketball team that we're playing. So, I've just been pleased with our team's effort and commitment on the defensive end in both of the first two games.
Frank, what was the biggest difference for Anthony Davis from Game 1 to Game 2?
He just was aggressive, and he was making perimeter shots. I thought he got plenty of good looks in the first game. Just had a tough shooting night. That stuff happens from time to time. But he certainly was aggressive, and as you play a team in the playoffs, each game that goes by, you get a little bit better understanding of how you want to attack them. Their defense. So there's some things we did slightly differently to get him involved, but for the most part, he just stayed aggressive, trusted his perimeter shot, and had a big night for us.
Hey, Frank, it's Dave. You have that saying, paint to great. You've mentioned it to us a few times. Obviously, your paint scoring was working tonight, and also you shot the ball much better from the outside. How much is that part of the identity of this team, and what allowed you to get back to that?
Yeah, well, we have arguably the greatest driving kick player in the history of the game in LeBron James. And, this is a driving kick league. So for our whole group, we encourage touching the paint and, looking for weak side shooters. I do have to credit Brett Brown in my sabbatical year when I visited the 76ers. That's his phrase, paint to great. We took that from him. But, when we play that way, we typically generate high-quality threes. We did it in the first game. We didn't knock them down. We knocked them down at a higher clip tonight, but we still have plenty of looks that we didn't knock down. And, I still think our potential for what we can do, the damage we can do with that concept, hasn't reached where it's going to be, hopefully, in the playoffs.
Allie?
Agu?
Right.
Obviously, you pulled a lot of your starters in the fourth quarter, but to you in that third quarter, what was the moment, or was there a moment where you're like, okay, this is in, we got this?
I never feel like we got this, but obviously if you get up 30, you feel good about your team, and but we know this team's got tremendous firepower. So obviously when Dane went out, that changed the game a little bit, and then they pulled their guys in the fourth. But this is going to be a very difficult series, and like I said, we have the utmost respect for the firepower they have offensively.
Tanya?
KCP had such a rough shooting night on Tuesday, and then we saw him in the gym shooting, and today to hit those back-to-back threes pretty early in the first quarter. How important was that for him, did you think?
Yeah, I'm really happy for KCP. Told him after game one that he started the season this way with a couple tough nights, a little bit of a shooting slump, and all he did is go and shoot 40% for the next 4 months, by remaining confident, remaining true to his work. And, both games he played extremely well. Game 2, he shot the ball well. Game 1, he didn't. But both games he played really well. And he's a huge part of what we've done. He exemplifies the play harder than our opponent mindset. And he was great tonight. I'm happy for him.
Give it back to Tanisha for a few.
Hey Frank, it's Bill. When you have an underdog that is able to score an early win like they did the other night, there's always a thought that do they taste blood, or are you leaving the door open for them? Are they getting some confidence with?
Bill, you cut out.
Sorry, Frank, you got me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. How important was it for you to try to respond and take something out of whatever momentum or spirit they had gained with the Game 1 victory?
Yeah, well, this team was in the conference finals last year. Okay, so they have the ability to be one of the best teams in the NBA. We don't view it as an underdog matchup. They're a heavyweight with the way they play, and with a player like Dame Lillard. So obviously this was an important game for us. We have tremendous respect for them, and we're going to have to battle the way we did tonight every game in the series.
Brian Kamenetsky?
Oh, thanks. Frank, when you get into a series like this, how much of what you do is, adjusting strategies, changing lineups versus just trying to execute what you want to do and do it better from game to game as opposed to making changes? What's that balance?
It's both. And, lineups are one of many, many adjustments you make throughout the game. Using different guys is one thing you do, but there's probably 10 different things on both sides of the ball that we did differently in Game 2 as opposed to Game 1, that helped us take a positive step in the series.
Michael Duarte.
Coach, I know you made emphasis in this game to start the game better than you did in Game 1. Obviously, hitting open shots and three-pointers helps that, but it was night and day today. So how do you attribute to that tonight, and how do you make sure it doesn't happen like it did in Game 1 the rest of the series?
Yeah, well, we returned to form a little bit offensively. We played good offensive basketball in Game 1, didn't make shots. The law of averages, those things come around. They came around some tonight. I still think we could have shot the ball even better. But our defense in the first quarter was far better in this game than it was in game one. A lot of breakdowns to start the game the other night. Much better. We held this team first and third quarter under 20 points. That's extremely difficult to do. So like I said, our effort and focus on end of the ball is at a very high level, and that's appropriate and necessary against this opponent.
Last question, Jim Alexander.
Yeah, Frank, the fact that you were able to get LeBron and AD off their feet in the fourth quarter, how much of an asset is that, considering the schedule of this series and the fact that the amount of recovery time you have between games?
Yeah, being able to take advantage of some rest definitely is going to help those guys, and hopefully pays off in Game 3.
All right, that's Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. Coming up next, we'll get a chance to hear from LeBron James. So the Lakers take care of business tonight against the Portland Trailblazers, 111-88. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box.
Your reaction on the Lakers line.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at PizzaHut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
There's no need to waste time at the car wash anymore. Mobile Wash brings the car wash to you in minutes with everything necessary to bring your car to a full shine. It's the only app that offers on-demand car washing services wherever you are in SoCal. Download Mobile Wash now and use the promo ESPNLA to save. 111-88 the final score. How about LeBron's stat line? I mean, last game, he was the first player to go 20, 15, and 15 over all three of those marks. And tonight, 10 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, even 6 turnovers. But the Lakers were blowing out the Portland Trailblazers. Someone explained to me how the Lakers were up 33 tonight. Obviously, the stats are one thing. At the end of the day, all that matters is the actual score. Lakers tie the series up 1 apiece. We'll get a chance to hear from LeBron James. Here's LeBron on the Lakers' big victory over the Portland Trailblazers and tying the series 1 apiece.
Hey, LeBron, we know how much respect you have for Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in that Blazers backcourt. What's been the key defensively in trying to limit them as the head of the snake there in Portland?
I'm just following the game plan. As much as those guys make tough shots, you still have to try to make them take tough shots. You can't pressure them because they live under the pressure. They succeed under the pressure. They thrive under the pressure. But you can't have breakdowns. When you have a defensive strategy, you have to execute that defensive strategy for 48 minutes or for the minutes that they're on the floor. And I think we did a great job with that tonight.
What did you see as the biggest difference in AD from game 1 to game 2, and how did you try to help facilitate that starting in that first quarter?
He was just aggressive. From the beginning of the game, wasn't passive at all. Looked for his shots. Even some of that he missed early, he continued to look for his shot, and he did a great job of offensive rebounding as well. Get some putbacks in that fashion.
Hey, LeBron, it's Dave. How does your guys' defensive effort help this team score on the other end?
That's been one of our staples all year. Our defense always fuels our break, fuels our offense. When we able to get multiple stops in a row, we can get out and run our lanes, run our patterns, and we can either get guys flying down the paint for dunks and lobs and layups, or our shooters can get going from the perimeter, which was the case tonight.
Allie?
All right, we're going to start with Kyle Goon.
LeBron, obviously Portland has had a really good run in the bubble, and that game 1 they had a lot of spirit in it. How important was it for you guys to just kind of crush them a little bit and demoralize them?
It was just one game, and we wanted to execute about 48 minutes, and we felt like we did a decent job of executing the first game, besides the opening minutes of the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, and then the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, and that's when they took advantage of us. So we knew we had to not have as many defensive laps, not many breakdowns coming into this game, no matter the score, which would give us a better chance of winning the game.
Tanya Gaguli.
I know that it's just one game and you've been through this enough time, not to keep things in perspective a little bit, but this was the best your offense has looked in the bubble. And I wonder, do you think that was important to be able to have a game like this and kind of get that back?
Well, it's always great to see the ball go through the rim, but more importantly, to defend. And I think sometimes your defense energizes your offense. But from the beginning of the game, it was great to see KCP have no conscience about his shot, get it going from the outside. JaVale did an unbelievable job getting offensive rebounds, second chance points. And everyone who came into the game just gave us energy and effort. And took it down to everybody that played tonight.
Brian?
Akron on the mask there. Did you have any concern yesterday when the president urged people to boycott Goodyear? What that could mean in the community? Obviously, a lot of jobs and things back home there.
I know my people of Akron, and I know what Goodyear means for our city. So one thing about us, we don't bend and we don't fold and we don't break for nobody. So I'm not worried about that. not only has Goodyear been great for my city, for the history of my city, but for the country and what they represented. It's unbelievable brand, unbelievable history. So we stand strong and we always unite, especially in my city. We've always felt like we've been counted out, being a small city, and that's what rallies us even more and makes us even stronger. So shout out, salute to all the workers, men and women at Goodyear over the course of their history and to the city back.
Chris Mannix.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. What's interesting about LeBron's performance tonight is this has been the case. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Is such an incredible vet, been in the league for so long. Will obviously go down as one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But something stood out to me. LeBron James and Rondo were mentioned this to Anthony Davis, that you don't get chances like this, you don't get opportunities like this all the time. So you got to take advantage of those opportunities. And if there's a player that understands what a unique opportunity this Lakers team is in, it's LeBron James. By the way, Rondo as well, just two veterans. But I mentioned that because I'm sure there's a lot of players on this Lakers roster that are just kind of looking and watching every move LeBron makes, looking and watching, okay, how does he approach the game? How does he approach these playoff games? Anthony Davis, just a reminder here, has only played 13 playoff games in his career before these last two. So he's up to 15 games, where LeBron, it seems like every year he's in the finals. So obviously every single player on this Lakers roster, depending on LeBron James, not just on the court, but off the court as well. The player that we've spent a lot of time kind of conversating about, and I love when listeners call in. By the way, whether to praise the players or to criticize them, that's part of the process here, and it's definitely part of the postgame show. We talked a lot about Anthony Davis. We got a chance to talk about how he was incredibly aggressive, the 31 points, the efficiency from the field, 13 to 21, the 11 rebounds. When we come back, we'll hear from Anthony Davis. He'll get a chance to address all the reporters and give his thoughts on his game, on his performance, and then also on the Lakers Game 3 coming up this Saturday. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready? On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny, is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in midday
show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game. And your reaction on the Lakers line.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Once again, here's Allen Sliwa.
It was the first playoff win for the Lakers since May 18th, 2012. Crazy to think, but that's the reality right there. Lakers hadn't been in the playoffs in 7 years, hadn't won a playoff game in 8 years, but they get the first one, and the hope is they could carry that momentum into Saturday's game. Just a quick reminder, tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m., Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis, they'll get you caught up. Obviously, everybody's going to be talking about this Lakers and Portland Trailblazers series, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be talking specifically about Anthony Davis. We got to watch Anthony Davis and listen to him on the broadcast here. 31 points and 11 rebounds. Loved his efficiency, 13 to 21 from the field. So without further ado, let's hear from the man tonight, Anthony Davis, here on this post-game presser.
In a situation where, you play big games, and if you don't show up, your name will be dragged through the mud. Your name will be in the tabloids. And game one, you go 8 for 24. You guys lose to start the series. Did you feel any of that kind of pressure that you were desiring, and did it help your game two performance?
Pressure on myself. I asked a couple guys on the team, some coaches, how can I be better? And they all told me I played well, but just critiquing myself, I knew I could be better on both ends of the floor. And just wanted to come out with the mindset tonight to be aggressive and to help my team on both ends of the floor and do whatever I have to do to help us get the win.
Hey, Anthony, what did you see on tape from that first game about the way that Portland was playing defense and just how packed into the paint they were, and if there was an adjustment that you had to make, if at all?
Well, they were packing the paint because they were forcing us to make shots, and we didn't make shots game one. Tonight, got back in the rhythm, made some shots, and we were able to get to the paint. Then, after we seen the ball, go from three a couple times, which opens the floor for everyone. And so we just gotta stay locked in, keep taking the time, especially when we catch the ball on the three, and continue to knock them down, which is going to open up the paint for post ups or drives. And then when they do come to help, making the right pass, the extra pass to open shooters to knock down more shots. So the difference in the game was just us making shots, and then I think we did a great job defensively. And I think they had 88 points, and there's a team who's been very hot from three, from mid-range, behind, and coming out and we did defensively. Even in game one, I think we played phenomenal defensively. Just had some mistakes towards the end. Too low on my part, but tonight we came out with a sense of desperation, a sense of urgency on the defensive end, and was able to turn a lot of those stops to bad points.
Hey, what's the biggest key for you defensively as the secondary defender on either Lillard or McCollum when they're coming out screen roll action? AD, what do you have to focus on as the helper?
Being up, those two guys, especially Dame, likes that deep ball three. So just being up, trying to take that away and make those guys, beat us with scoring twos. They're a really great three-point shooting team, and we just try to take those shots away and make somebody else beat us. But if they do, have the ball in their hands, make them force them into the 2-point area, and live with a contest. And if they make it, then we tip our hats to them. But we really want to take away that.
Allie?
How good?
You had a couple shots from mid-range the first quarter that weren't falling. It seemed like you made a point to kind of attack the basket more. And then that third quarter, found your touch. I think you had that first possession where you dribbled up and hit the wide open three. Does getting to the rim and sort of getting that touch there affect or correlate to what you can do in your deeper shots later in the game, build your confidence, anything like that?
I just tried to be more aggressive and take my time on shots. I felt like in game one I was off balance enough. The two shots I had in the mid-range in the first quarter I actually liked. It was inside the paint. I just missed them. And then just staying confident in my shot, honestly. Trying to get to the free throw line and attack the basket as well, and find guys who make a play for myself. So just being more aggressive and not just settling for the jumper balls or into the basket finishing and playing through contact and not looking for a whistle. Just going to finish, and then if the refs blow a whistle, then they do. If not, take my time finishing, and then they kind of just, opens up the floor for me when I'm driving and be able to knock down the mid-range, for guys to kind of fall back a little bit to kind of stop that, which leaves the three open. So just kind of playing what the defense gives me and taking the right shots.
Joe Barton?
Anthony, when you're playing in a game like that, you're dunking on them, you're smothering them defensively, and Dame can't get loose. Do you feel the other team's spirit change? Like, do you feel energy start to drain, momentum shift, that kind of thing?
Anytime, you're not performing well, your energy, always changes, but, with us, we want to take away their confidence as early as possible, because they can get going very quickly, especially Dame, him and CJ and Melo, so we try to do as much as we can to limit those guys early. If they coming off shoot, it's going to be a tough shot. It's going to be in your face, and if you make it, then, hats off to you, which they can. But, we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can defensively to kind of limit those guys and, and also on the offensive end, put them in actions to, kind of tire them down because, those guys are elite scorers. And as much as we can to, as they go on the offensive end and try to attack us, we have to do the same thing and, just trying to make it get tough for those guys all night.
Mark Medina?
Yeah, when we talk about playing aggressively in games, are there things you do in particular during the day as far as your routine or pre-game warm-up that you think is pretty instrumental to get you in that mode?
Nothing really changes. My routine has always been the same. So there's nothing that's really changed. It's just a matter of going out and doing it, and I think God knows, especially Bron, he didn't say one word to me today, but he kind of already, he kind of knew. He saw the look on my face from the beginning. But it's just a matter of going out and doing it, and just playing a lot of energy and effort, which you can control. I can control how hard I play, how much effort I play with. I can control about, shots being made. But I can control how I play on the defensive end. I can control my energy and effort.
All right, Tanisha, I think you have a few on your end.
Yeah, last three. Melissa?
Hey, Dee. Mentally speaking, with everything going on, did you feel like you needed a performance like this and the team needed a win like this?
I just feel like we needed to win. We don't want to go down 0-2 in the series, and our entire mindset the entire season has been never lose 2 in a row, and we just wanted to come out very scrappy, kind of the same way we did in game one, and just have a lot of confidence in making shots. But you never want to go down 0-2 in the series, and it was a must-win game for us, and we played that way, played with a sense of desperation and a sense of urgency, and like I said, to be able to hold that team, the 88 points, who've been playing extremely well in this bubble. Officer rating is off the charts. It's great for our team, great for our defense, but it's still one game, and we got 3 games to go, or 3 more wins to go, and we just want to make sure we come out with the same energy we did tonight.
Anthony, you mentioned that you asked coaches and teammates about your game one, and they thought that you played better maybe than the stat line, at least offensively, said, when you went back and looked at it, though, what did you find that you didn't think was up to your standard, and how did you work to change that tonight?
Defensively, it was plays on the defensive end that I usually make. I was hesitant in rotations. They were getting a lot of easy layups at the rim, offensive rebounds. And that's all an effort thing, energy thing. And so I just try to make the adjustment to just play free. I know the reads and I know the rotations that I have to make, and we're all on the string tonight. But me just talking to the team and kind of being that defensive anchor that I've always been, just kind of helped the entire team tonight.
Last question.
All right, that's Anthony Davis right there. AD obviously big for the Lakers. What you really want to see from here is you want to see Anthony Davis do it again for Game 3, Anthony Davis do it again for Game 4, and we want to make this consistent on this postgame show, especially as we get deeper into the postseason. And I know it's only 2 games in, but we know what the goal is. So the consistency of having Anthony Davis dominate like he did tonight, on both sides of the ball. Actually, I think that's interesting. I like that he said that. He said that what he would take away from the first game was he didn't like how he was performing defensively. He didn't talk about the 8 of 24 from the field. He didn't talk about some of that inefficiency, but that's a player that first of all, should be the defensive player of the year, number one, and number two, a player that understands the value of both sides of the ball. Every time we talk about some of the best players in the league, and I do this in the pregame show, Michael always tries to remind everybody there's 2 sides of the ball. 50% of the game is played on the other end, so Anthony Davis obviously making note of that. As we wrap up here, I just want to throw out a couple quick scores here. Heat over the Pacers, 109-100. Rockets over the Thunder, 111-98. That series is 2-0. Miami over the Pacers, 2-0. And the Bucks and the Magic, 111-96. Bucks tie that series up 1 apiece. Some great NBA games everywhere. And that's what's kind of happened here in this NBA bubble. What would be all right, let's go back now we go on the road. We play 2 at Staples, 2 at Moda Center now coming for Portland. That's obviously not the case. What we do know with the Los Angeles Lakers, we'll get some more information on this, but Shams Charania during the game mentioned that Portland's Damian Lillard, so he suffered that dislocated left index finger. X-rays were negative. So that's something to keep in mind as we get closer to Saturday's game. Before that, tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m., Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin, and Travis. They'll be talking, obviously, Los Angeles Lakers basketball, so something to keep in mind there. Last reminder, Lakers, Portland Trailblazers. It's on Saturday, 3:30 on 710 ESPN. We greatly appreciate you guys all tuning into the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers basketball tonight. The Lakers took care of those Blazers tonight.
Lakers basketball on ESPN LA is sponsored by Sincoro Tequila, official sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers basketball. Lakers basketball.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. For even more savings, check out jiffylubesocial.com. Brought to you by Mobile Wash. Need a car wash? Download Mobile Wash and have one of our professionals bring the car wash to you in minutes at home or work. Experience Mobile Wash. Car wash delivered.
Brought to you in part by Dignity Health. Safety first, healing always. There's never been a better time to get the care you need. Visit dignityhealth.org/SoCal. Get closer to Lakers basketball right here.
Lakers basketball.
Brought to you by Shuteria and Reebok Work. Visit Shuteria.com to see the entire selection of Reebok work shoes and boots.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at PizzaHut.com. Next up in the playoffs for the Lakers, Saturday night in the bubble. We look to go up 2-1 on the Blazers. Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off at 3:30 p.m. with Allen Sliwa and Michael Thompson. Lakers Blazers get it going at 5:30. Game 2, Saturday night, 710 ESPN.